Good afternoon and welcome everyone to the Women and Wealth Seminar. My name is Jessica Jimenez. It is an honor to introduce the professionals who will be presenting today. I guarantee that you will learn a lot and your time will be spent wisely. 40 years ago, a group of individuals founded our company. At the time, it seemed like an impossible task. It is with great pride to say that today it is the #1 company with women as financial advisors in the United States and Canada. I don't say this to impress you, but to emphasize how fast we are growing and the opportunity we are presenting today. Today, you will hear about who we are, what we do, and why our mission is so important for you and your loved ones. Our company was created by real people for the needs of real people. To share our story, we have two highly qualified executives, Mrs. Maria Baeza and Mrs. Carolina Estrada. Maria has been in education for 23 years. She has been a teacher, a director, an administrator, and much more. She is dedicated to help women and offer the opportunity to learn and better their finances. Maria believes that education is the key to freedom. Her mission is to help as many families as she possibly can throughout the United States. Carolina has helped over 10,000 families working in this business. She graduated with a degree in fine arts. She is an artist, but she has dedicated her life to educate others. She has made it her goal to educate as many communities as possible, along with her husband, Santos Ruano. Dedicated to the empowerment of women, she is a mentor to women who have succeeded thanks to her teachings. Her goal is to protect all families, guarantee a prosperous future, and free families of financial stresses. We will be posting a Google form in the chat a little later on so you can give your feedback. We thank you ahead of time for filling the form out. Please focus for the next hour. Don't let anything distract you. Please put your phone on silent and make sure to take notes. I suggest you put your screen on speaker view so you can see the screen better. Maria and Carolina, thank you for sharing this information and for giving us a bit of your valuable time. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave you in excellent hands. Maria, the microphone is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you for that great introduction. I really appreciate it. And welcome to everybody who's here today with us. We know you could be doing other things. You've taken time away from your family, and we really appreciate it. So thank you. And let's get started. As the screen says, the secret of getting ahead is always getting started. Okay, so we do need to get started on this. This is important information we're sharing today. We hope that you enjoy it. And we also hope that it makes you a little uncomfortable because there are some information we're going to share with you that is going to help us raise awareness, which is one of the things that we are hoping for everybody around us, right? We need to be aware in order to do something different. So let me go ahead and share some things with you. We're going to start by celebrating ourselves, celebrating women, and we're going to look at women in the U.S. So let's take a look at some of these numbers, okay? Women are definitely in the lead when it comes to many things and many accomplishments. And here are some of the things that we really want to point out. So we know that American women are very well educated, and that includes everybody who's here with us today. And we're successfully breaking down barriers in the workforce. So what does that actually look like? Well, when it comes to education, formal education, we know that women account for about 57.5% of all bachelor's degrees, 61% of all master's, and 52% of all doctorate degrees. Great, that's great news. That means that unlike where we may have been 50, 60 years ago, right now, women have a strong presence in education. We also know that women make up 46.8% of the workforce, including 52% of professional and managerial occupations. Many of you here today may have either now or have had in the past or will have roles that are connected, that are associated with power in the workplace, right? So that's really important for us to be aware of. We are in the lead. And women own 9.9 million businesses across the country. That's huge. All types of business, small business, from daycare all the way to being CEOs in the corporate world. So thank you for doing your part. We have to celebrate that. We also know that there are some things that we don't talk much about, but are also a reality. So let's take a look at some of those things. As women, we tend to make less money. That's a reality in many fields, including the field that I came from, which was education, right? As was mentioned earlier in the introduction, education is one of those fields where many women find themselves in, right? For various reasons. In my case, it was kind of passed down genetically in my family. My dad is a teacher. My aunts and uncles on both sides of the family were teachers. So it was just genetically programmed. But what I never imagined was that in a field that is so heavily populated by women would be one of inequity when it came to money. I found out the hard way. I had a position in administration, and in that position, I had a colleague who was entering administration with me that same year. He and I had the same years of experience in education. We were coming into the same role, same hours, same responsibilities. Everything was the same across the board. A year after our role, we talked about how hard the work was and, how much sacrifice we had given that year. And he mentioned something like, I'm glad that at least there's a compensation, financial compensation. And so then we had a chance to talk about those numbers. And I shared what I was making. He shared what he was making. And he was making $10,000 over what I was making, which was a shock. He was just as stunned. So I spoke to somebody who was above us, thinking that, we could do something about that there had been a mistake. This person was actually a woman. I thought she would understand. And instead she said, well, men tend to do better in these roles. They tend to stick longer. So we always like to compensate them in a way to keep them. And so we're not losing. We don't have that turnaround in the role. I was floored. I was shocked, really disappointed. And it made me become really aware of how much we have to advocate for ourselves. So we definitely make less money, and that can happen in many professions. Hopefully none of you here today have experienced it, but just know that it does happen. We also experience interruptions and reductions in the work history. Obvious reasons, right? We have a baby, we take time off. We take care of our elders, we take time off. Many reasons why women have to stop or have reductions, or that we start a little later, we end our work history a little sooner, all of those things. We also invest more conservatively, and it makes sense, right? I mean, we are generally more sensible, right? We are going to be more careful with what we do with our money. And so that leads to that more conservative investing. We also save less for retirement, whether it's considering that we work less years or also considering that we are, there are two incomes in the home, the dominant, the male, whatever it is. One of the two is usually investing more money, and the female tends to use that money more for things that have to be done in the family. We rely more on Social Security and other federal programs, right? We really trust those programs. We think they're going to be good for us, and they do have a purpose, but they will never, ever do everything that we think. We put too much faith in our 401ks and our pension plans, and anything that comes from our companies, our HR departments with the best of intentions can only offer us some choices, right? And we tend to trust those choices, and we live longer. We definitely live longer. So in other words, here's some of the hard truth that we talk about. 80% of women don't know, I will say much, let's not say anything, but don't know enough about their financial situation, about their financial status. Compared to men, women typically earn less, which we mentioned. They spend fewer years in the workforce, and yet they live longer. In fact, nearly 90% of all women will end up managing their finances alone. That could be a number of different things. We choose not to get married. We, at some point, divorce, separate, or become a widow. There's many reasons why we will have to manage our finances alone. And so that's why we really believe in empowering women in the area of finance. We also know some hard truths across genders, right? 46% of Americans don't know how much they have saved for retirement, according to reports, right? And so this is striking, and we see this in every conversation that we have. In most conversations, people know they have a retirement plan, they have a pension, they have a 401k. They don't necessarily know how much they have, and that's an area of concern, because this is what we do find when we do study those numbers. Here's what we find. 1 in 3 Americans has nothing saved for retirement. What does that mean? That means that we have only 2/3 who have something saved. But out of those 2/3, let's take a look at those numbers. If you see right here, we have 23% that has less than $10,000. Obviously not enough. 10% who has between $10,000 and $49,000. Honestly, not enough. 8% has 50 to 99%. 8% has 100 to 199%. 5% has $200 to $299,000. I've been saying percent, but you know what I mean. And only 13% has anywhere between 300,000 and above, right? So what does that mean? When we look at the numbers, we look at inflation, we look at longevity, how long people live nowadays, we do know that we definitely need to be closer to that 13% of the population. Now, is that enough? $300,000 enough? Generally, no. So this is something that worries us, right? So where women are, where families are, where people are. We care about everybody. We just happen to be talking about about women and our finances today. Going back to ourselves, to us as women, here's something that we know. When I researched this and I found that I was very, very worried, upset, and wanted to become part of the solution. And that's why education is so important when it comes to finance. Nearly 1 in 5 working women have nothing saved for retirement. That's working women. 1 in 5 has 0 saved for retirement. Why is that? Okay, let's take a look at some of the reasons why, because sometimes we know facts, but we don't analyze them enough. Analysis is key, right? So here's just two of the facts that we know. Women earn about 81% for every dollar that a man makes, right? So we're earning less, have to save more generally, right? We also know that past the age of 85, so 85 years and above, there are 2 women for every 1 man. So we are living longer. There's more of us in the elderly stage of our lives, and we have made less. We have worked less years. We have saved less. We make less, right? So what does that mean? What does it do to you? I mean, think about what you're feeling right now. I did not feel good when I heard this. And I had been in a profession from the age of 24 and worked for 23 years straight. And these things had happened to me. I just had not stopped to think about it. People often say, it's just really hard to save money. I don't know where I'm going to find that money. And let me tell you, I was there. I was one of those. And I can also let you know that yes, you can. We can all save and have the habit of saving. In fact, look at these numbers right here, right? This is something that, again, we're hoping to wake us all up a little bit. But here's something that we also know, that simply thinking about $10,000 a year, how do you save? How do you waste $10,000 a year? Well, that is by spending $27.40 a day in things that are not necessary. I was guilty of that. I think I probably went over that amount because I would stop and get my coffee in the morning on the way to work, which made me feel great in the morning to get something a little warm and made by somebody else. It felt like a treat. And then I would usually, a few times a week for sure, I would pick up lunch somewhere because I was always in a rush. And then, we would have dinner out a few days out of the week. So it probably averaged more like $35 a day if I did all the math. But this is where we were as a family. This is definitely where I was. So think about those little expenses. Think about where your money is going and think about where it could be going instead. Going back to the broader picture, everybody, including us, 4 in 10 adults, if faced with an unexpected emergency expense of $400, will not be able to cover it. So what does that mean? That you have to turn to either selling something or borrowing money, right? I mean, we see the really dire emergencies. We see that GoFundMe's have become really popular, and thank goodness people are willing to collaborate and donate. That's a wonderful thing. But we also know that some people don't have access to that, and sometimes that's not enough either, right? So we do have to be careful with emergencies, and we're going to talk about some emergencies that happen very often, unfortunately, and you're going to see it around you. And so we want you to be ready. We want you to be prepared and protected. And we want you to share this information with other women and men and people in general in your life. But we're going to talk about a pretty traditional family, a household of 2 adults, right? Represented here by a man and a woman, but it could be, any combination. So we're really thinking about 2 adults to a household, 2 adults who have income and are supporting that household. So what does that mean? That means that those 2 people on their shoulders have all of these responsibilities. They're responsible for the food and the mortgage and the loan payment and the tuition and the rent, whatever it may be in that situation. We know that this is your family possibly, and so you must be a provider. Doesn't mean you have to work, but you're definitely a provider of the family. You're holding all these pieces together as well. We know that if anything happens to the 2, there's an unexpected loss, and it could be what's obvious here. Someone is missing altogether, right? But it could also be a chronic disease, a terminal disease. Those things happen. We know they do. And sometimes they're temporary, thank goodness. Still, there's a loss right there. There's a loss of income. And so what that happens is with that loss of income, all of these things have no base. Have nothing to support them, not enough. With what just one person cannot do it all alone, right? So unless it's a home that's already been established, most of the time these things that you see here will happen. And so without life insurance, the family will have difficulty adjusting to this new situation, right? And often they cannot. But what we see is that with things such as life insurance, you can actually protect your family. And so what happens is while that second adult is getting their health back, right? Or possibly that adult is no longer in the picture, the family that is left behind can have the financial means to adjust to that new reality. It doesn't take away the pain, and we know that. But we don't want to see families that are suffering financially in addition to all the emotional trauma. So very important for you to consider options like this. Let's think about the woman that stays home, because I grew up in a home like that, and I know most of my family grew up in homes. So I'm from Spain, and we grew up with a home where the mother stayed home, and thank goodness she did, right? We have to honor all that work. But was it ever honored financially? Absolutely not. So this is something that I shared with my mom, and it made her feel really good to at least know that this work is being done nowadays. So let's take a look at what happens when it comes to women. How should they be compensated if they're staying home? This is something you can let your spouse know. But if we actually looked at all the roles a woman takes, right? We're talking about all the caregiving that is done, right? Everything, the caregiving of the home, of the children, of the parents, of the spouse, whatever it may be. She's a housekeeper, dietitian. Sometimes it's a male. In the case of my family, we had that situation reversed, right? But whoever's staying home, especially if it's on long term, there's this perception of they don't make enough money, so we don't have to worry about covering their expenses. We don't have to worry about life insurance, for example, because they don't make any money. Well, the reality is that if we added all those roles, that position, which is a position, would actually amount to about $178,000 a year. And these are numbers measured in 2019. Right? So think about it. All of those roles put together, if anybody ever had to substitute that person, that would mean all of those roles would have to be substituted. Right? And what does that mean? That means a lot of money. So again, whether it's a chronic disease, a critical disease, or something more traumatic, we definitely have to know that that work has to be recognized. And so again, I'm just highlighting here, and you'll see it very, very easily, that all of those roles amount to that much. And so when it comes to life insurance, which is one of the ways that we protect our families, a woman should have also about $1 million life insurance. And I sit down with families, again, The spouse that works outside of the house will say, well, I have life insurance because I work, everything's good. Our family is protected. They never turn around and say, well, the spouse who stays home should also have life insurance because if anything happens to him or her, generally her, what's going to happen? Who's going to manage all of that? And how is that going to get paid? Here's a great simple quote, right? And one by Angelina Jolie, a woman of power. You like her or dislike her. I happen to like her in movies. I think she's fiery, she's great, and she's fun. But here's something that we know and that she says very, very smoothly. There's no greater pillar of stability than a strong, free, and educated woman, right? And so the freedom comes with education and the strength comes with the education. So that's what we are here to do for you today. Continue to provide education that will empower you. So I'm going to change gears a little bit, and Carolina, my friend, my mentor, the person you're going to hear from is going to come on very soon. But I do want to give you just a little context in terms of who we are as a company or who we work with, because as financial agents, we had many, many choices, and each of us decided this was the company we wanted to work with for very specific reasons. You'll recognize the Transamerica Pyramid in San Francisco. I'm hoping you do. Very famous in many, many movies, a beautiful sight to see from a distance. And that represents one of our major companies, right? We actually began as an organization, as a company over 20 years ago when a company out of the Netherlands called Aegon, that had already been doing financial services for about 100 years in Europe, decided that they wanted to also offer services here in the US. So not only did they decide to do it in the US, but they wanted to also offer those same services in Canada and Puerto Rico. And rather than starting from scratch, which would have taken a lot longer, and they're one of those companies that are too big to fail, they have billions of dollars in assets, they decided that they were going to purchase two different companies. The first one is Transamerica. Transamerica has also been doing financial services for about 100 years, already has a really strong standing reputation, and so they purchased that company and partner up with them so that they could hit the ground running. But they were very clever, and that wasn't enough. They didn't just stop there. They decided that they were going to also purchase World Financial Group, WFG. That's what it's commonly known as. And just for you, those of you who may have heard of WFG, WFG is a platform. It's an operations and administration platform. It offers us all the behind the scenes work that we need so that we as agents don't have to worry about that. And I always compare it to the Amazon of financial services because it provides us the choice, the freedom, the liberty, of being able to really research what's in the market, research all the different companies, and give the best to our clients. Now, WFG, as we mentioned, is across all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and Canada, and has offices and branches in all the states and all the provinces in Canada as well. So we have offices and teams and trainings that happen. We happen to be part of Pinnacle Agency. Now, Pinnacle Agency, which you see down here, the logo on the bottom right, is the #1 division of the whole company. It has the most recognition, has the most number of agents. It has clients that stay the longest and definitely provides the best training. So I cannot share with you enough how honored I am to be part of this team, because whenever I go anywhere, people will respect the fact that we've been trained by this division, right? And we are growing, we continue to grow. We're always looking for great people to do the work that we do. So with that being said, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to turn the mic over to Carolina. Please listen, continue to take notes. She's going to give you some amazing strategies that are going to give you a different perspective and have you understand what you've been doing, whether it was the right thing or not, and what you could be doing instead if you really analyze and see that there are things that you should be doing differently. So with that being said, please help me welcome Carolina Estrada.
Wow, Maria, you did such a great job. I love how you explain everything and the crusade, because we truly need to help more people. So Maria has a big heart, and she always wants to help everybody. It is a pleasure to have you as a business partner and a friend.
Yes.
And I'm very, very proud of what you have become and how many people you have been helping so far. So
Likewise.
yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to keep going with the presentation here, and let me see if you can see my screen. Awesome. So like Maria was saying, Aegon is a huge company. We do business through Transamerica and different companies. And some of the products that we offer are 401k rollovers, IRA rollovers, life insurance, but the kind of life insurance that pays out during your lifetime, not only when people passes away. We also offer long-term care, college plans for kids. There is a great product. The name of the product is Index Universal Life. We also offer fixed index annuity. Those are basically pension plans, and a lot more. We do legacy planning. We make sure that our families are absolutely protected. And to do that, we have different companies. We work with more than 78 companies, and some of them are Pacific Life, Everest, Allianz, Transamerica, Nationwide, Symetra, Franklin Templeton, Prudential, Athene, to name some of them. And this is kind of like when you need to go, let's say that you need car insurance and you go to whatever brand, they have plan A, B, or C. And usually you get whatever they offer in between, right? So you say, well, A is too expensive, C is not enough, so I will get plan B. But in this case, we have a menu, so we have the power of choice. Depending on what you need, we can offer you whether you need long-term care, whether you need to roll over a 401k, a 403b, or whatever you need, we have the plan and the company to offer the best services. And our crusade, our motto is no family left behind. So we basically educate people, and to do that, we divided, let's say, society into two groups, Family A and Family B. Family A would be Middle America, whoever makes $100,000 or less. They usually have a job, they have a 401k plan or not. If they have some kind of life insurance, they have a term life insurance, which is temporary. And they usually rent, they put the money in the bank, and the bank never makes any money because they make the money for themselves, but they don't give you the interest, right? And Family A, unfortunately, uses a credit card as their emergency fund. And now at this time, I'm sure that a lot of people are using a lot of credit cards. And that is not the wisest thing to do. So basically what Family A gets is minimal tax advantages because they are usually under a W-2, they are employees. And they don't know that they can write off a bunch of taxes if they were business owners. So Family A doesn't have any advisor, doesn't have any plan, and that is the majority of the population. So what we do is we help both groups. We have the information. So we help Family A with the same information that Family B uses to make more wealth, because they are usually business owners, they have a financial professional, they have a financial advisor, and they usually pay the financial advisor between $1,000 to $4,000 a quarter. So, so usually the Family B are the ones that have big businesses and they employ other people, and they have permanent life insurance. They are homeowners. They diversify their portfolio. They are debt-free. And because they are under a 1099, being business owners, they can write off a lot of expenses. And this is the small percent of the population. So most people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan because they don't have the information, right? Awesome. So I'm going to teach you 3 rules of money that you need to know to be successful with your finances. And the first rule is called the rule of 72. And here we have an example of someone of 29 years of age that wants to save $10,000. And let's say that this person goes and puts the money to work at a 1%. Let's say that she goes to the bank that usually pays 0.01, by the way. But let's say that the cashier was in a good mood and he's like, okay, I'm going to give you 1%. So if you take the number 72 and you divide that number by the percentage, you will get the amount of years that your money will take to double. So in this case, your money will double in 72 years. And that is not really exciting, right? So if the person is 29 and she has $10,000, when she is 101, she will have $20,000. And I don't know what can she do with $20,000 being that age. But we are always looking for a higher interest rate. So if the investment can give you a 1%, you take the number 72, you divide that by 4, and it will give you the amount of years that it will take to double. In this case, 18 years. So at 65 years of age, you will have $40,000. And what are people thinking when they reach the age of 65? They are thinking retirement. You're right. When they are 60, 62, 63, they are already thinking on retirement as soon as possible. But let me tell you something. Retirement is not an age. Retirement is an amount of money, because what are you going to do with $40,000 at 65? That person will have to go back to work, right? Like when you go to Walmart or when you go to those stores and you see people that are 70, 75, 80 years old still working on a Sunday evening. And that is devastating. It breaks my heart when I see them. So retirement is actually an amount of money. So think to yourself, what age do you want to retire and how much money do you want to have when you retire? Of course, you want to have the most amount of money possible, right? So if you put the money to work at 6%, you might have $80,000 at 65. But if you put your money to work at a 12%, you might have $640,000. And those are good news. But let me tell you something. Depends on where you save your money, you will have to pay taxes or not. So if you have your money saved in a taxable account, this $640,000 won't be that amount. It will be a lot less, because do you think that taxes are going to be higher or lower in the future? Right now, people are paying between 30% and 40% on taxes. In 10 years, who knows? Because after this pandemic, I don't know how much time the country can keep the taxes that we are paying right now. Everybody's complaining about taxes, but they never saw how bad it could be. Like in the 70s, the taxes were so high that was the reason why they created the 401k and those kind of plans, to save money there and pay taxes in the future. And the future is now for those people, but we don't know what the future will be for us. So I'm going to show you 3 ways that money grows. You can put your money in a fixed account. You can put it in a variable account like a 401k, 403b, stocks, mutual funds, and all those plans that are unreliable because those are variable. those are unpredictable. You never know. If you have $100,000 now, you don't know how much you're going to have in 2 years or in 3 years or tomorrow. Because, for example, on the 2008 crash, people had money to be able to retire, and overnight they lost 50%. And it took a very long time for some of them to recover that amount, because in order to, if you lose 50%, you will have to gain 100%. Make sense? And some of them were very close to the retirement age, and they never recovered the money that they lost. So what we do is we protect people's assets. And we have an index strategy, which is, in my opinion, way better, because you can predict how much money you can have in the future. And you can have peace of mind thinking that your money is protected and is not going to be lost when the market crashes. So there are 3 ways money gets taxed. You can get your money taxed now if you have savings accounts, CDs, brokerage accounts, or mutual funds, or you can postpone your taxes and save your money into 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, SEP IRAs, annuities, or pension plans. But when you take the money out, it will be taxed, okay? So what we do here is we show different options, and we educate people. There are a bunch of books that you can read, like Tax-Free Retirement, Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance, Stress-Free Retirement, and a lot more. Those books are key books to the knowledge of our agents and our clients. So most of those books talk about saving your money in tax advantage accounts. And the one that I like the most is the cash accumulation in an insurance policy, because you can have, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because you can have protection, and you can also not only protect your family, but protect your money and have your income tax-free. So if you want to have more information, of course, get in communication with the person that invited you, because that person has the best interest on you. And there's a lot more that I can go over and explain, but of course, in a presentation that is about like 30 to 40 minutes, there is too much information to share. And that's why we always recommend to have a complementary plan and get educated, because that can save you a lot of headaches. So to recap, we have 3 rules, the 3 rules of money. We have the rule of 72, how money grows, and how money gets taxed. And the rule of 72 is basically on the accumulation phase, when you are accumulating your money. The how money grows is the protection phase, because you know, you want to keep what you have. And the distribution phase is when you are going to withdraw your money. And that is important to know, because you don't want to be hit with taxes, okay? Awesome. So we have a wise man that, I don't know if you are familiar with Warren Buffett. He's a self-made millionaire. He's one of the richest men in the world. And he says, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. And one of the secrets of solvency is to make it before you spend it. Or another secret is to spend less than what you make. But the real secret is make a lot of money. You need to make a lot of money. And we are here to help you increase your income and make more money. So let me share with you, when we do the financial needs analysis with our clients and with people that are looking to increase their cash flow, we show them that we can help them increase the cash flow by earning additional income and managing their expenses. And you also can help your kids or, you know, have different plans to protect your future, the future of your family, and to make sure that they are all set. We basically help people to be all set. We also recommend to have an emergency fund, at least to save from 3 to 6 months of income. So you can prepare for anything, for any unexpected expense or whatever. It could be something good or bad. Maybe, you know, you have a good investment and you need to have some money saved. Also, proper protection. A lot of people don't know that they are underprotected. If you have a mortgage, you need to have life insurance. If you have a family, you need to have life insurance. So like I was saying, our plans are not death insurance. We offer life insurance because our plans have living benefit like chronic illness, terminal illness, critical illness, and we also offer long-term care to care for you when if you live too long, because two things could happen. People can die too soon or they can live too long, and living too long sometimes is very expensive. So make sure that your family and your loved ones are protected. And then build wealth, because whatever you accumulated needs to be protected, and preserve your wealth with a living trust, with everything, you know, a power of attorney, whatever you need to make sure that you are good to go. And if you have to circle one of these, which one would you circle? Would you circle 1, 2, 3, 4, or all of them? What is the most important to you? So now, in case you want to make more money, we have an agency, and our agency has different ways to get paid. We can have our personal income that we can do on our own pen. We have an agency income that when you train others, of course, you get paid. We have expansion income. We are expanding in all 50 states and Canada. And we also have bonuses that are awesome. When we do certain amount of production that is very easy to reach, we get like 2,000, 5,000. Sometimes with my husband, we look at the statements and we are like, why did we get paid so much? And it was because these bonuses are amazing. And then we have recurring income. We keep getting paid from the clients that we did from like our first clients 10 years ago. And I love this business because it works compounding, like the rule of 72, the more interest, well, the more time you stay in the business and the more agents you have in the business, the more money you will make. So we never go backwards. We keep earning more and more and more. So the average associate, when they first start and they can help 4 families a month, they make about $50,000 a year if they are very conservative and they have a full-time job. Once they become senior marketing directors, which is the broker's position, the average senior marketing director is making $100,000, but they could make a lot more. We have people that are senior marketing directors that are making 200, 400, even 500,000 a year. If you don't believe it, you need to log into our Zoom trainings and you will see that I'm not lying. We have people that are very successful, and because of the trainings that we are having and because of the system since the pandemic, we are doing everything through Zoom. So we have access to all those houses that before were hard to reach, but now anybody can log into a Zoom and attend a webinar or attend a training or learn a little bit more about their investments. So there are different positions. We have people making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year, and that's our future. That's the future of our agents. The ones that are, you know, you need to make first your first paycheck and then start getting paid every cycle. We get paid Tuesdays and Fridays, twice a week. So when you start making every cycle, then you start making like $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 a month, and then you already know what you are doing because we teach you, we equip you so you can understand how you need to help your clients. And so from 10,000, 12, 15, 20, 25, that's the normal within our team. So we have, WFG is a very strong company. And I like to talk about numbers. And actually, these were the numbers for 2020. And now we are almost finishing 2021. But we have more than 5 million families helped. Our companies are rated A+. And we have about 50,000 agents working in the field. So you could be one of those, or you can build your agency, your army of leaders helping other people. And I'm very proud to say that Transamerica is the #1 company talking about, Maria was talking about the injustice that she was working, and there was a guy doing less than her, but he was making 10,000 more than her. Well, here in our company, we don't discriminate. We have ladies that are helping so many people. And actually, ladies, women are better because we are more appealing. We are more compassionate. So our ladies are killing it. Our ladies are smoking a lot of men. And I'm very proud to say that we have a great team of women in our team. And we are in a crusade to help more women and protect more families, because we understand what women go through, right? You have to multitask, you have to take care of the kids, do the groceries, cook, clean the house, work, be pretty and in shape, and you have to have a good mood, you have to be perfect like Wonder Woman. Well, you can be perfect and wealthy here. So, of course, we can also do it as a couple. If you have a partner that you want to do it with, we have a lot of examples of success. Eric Olson here is our mentor, and Sandra is his wife. She's amazing. And we have a lot of examples of success. For example, here we have Daniel and Linda Fombo. They are already making $3 million plus. She used to be a doctor, and he used to be a respiratory nurse. Juan Jaime, he came from Mexico, and he used to be a plumber, and now he's making like 1.5 million. And we have a lot of examples of success. And here's my husband, my handsome husband. And we love this company. We have been in the company for 10 years, and we love helping other people. So if you are one of those that are interested on becoming one of us, we welcome you. We have a lot of recognition. We travel the world. We have been to the WFG Villa in San Martin, and we can go every year. We have watches and rings, and you can earn your $100,000 ring, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million ring. Eric Olson was featured in the Finance magazine, and here we have in the Forbes magazine again, Eric, close to Warren Buffett, the richest man in the world. And we have an amazing team. So we don't feel like we work, to tell you the truth, because they say that when you do what you love, you don't feel like you're working or like you don't work a day in your life. We have so much fun that I don't want to be doing anything else but helping people and helping others to become the best version of themselves. And we have different options. Yeah, you can get a complimentary financial strategy. We can analyze your situation to see how we can help you for free. You don't need to pay anything. We love educating people, and we love referrals actually too, because we work off referrals. And option 2 is, in case you want to become a referral agent and be part of the revenue sharing program, you can do that. And if you want to get your license, we can split the commissions 50-50. And we have a lot of people doing that. They work full-time, but they just refer people and we make them clients. Sometimes we build them a team and they are extremely happy because they start getting paychecks and they don't even know where this is coming from. But of course, our policy is to be absolutely crystal clear when someone refers people, because this company and our motto is built on trust, right? So we need to trust each other. And option 3 is part-time or twin career. If you have a full-time job or you love what you do, you can become a licensed professional and do this part-time and keep learning and be part of the leadership program and read the books. And we have a lot of education and a lot of self-improvement in this company. And then if you want to be full-time and become a business owner, you have a lot of advantages because, you know, we have, we can talk that more in detail, but we have a lot of incentives, a lot of ways, like I was saying, 5 ways we get paid. And I mean, I can go on and on and on and on talking about being full-time. But we usually recommend to start part-time until you learn the vocabulary and you learn how the business works and everything. So they say that knowledge is not power unless it's applied. So let's go apply all this knowledge. And I would like to stay in communication with you. Here is my email, my phone number, and Maria Baeza's email and phone number. Get in communication with the person that invited you and make sure that you follow up with them, because sometimes we get busy and we don't want to be bothering anybody. But if you are interested, you should tell the person that invited you, hey, I'm interested in doing this. I want to become a client. I want to become an agent. I want to build my own agency, and give your feedback. Maria, I think that she's going to post a feedback form for you to fill out. And I hope to see you again. And I hope that we brought value to you and you learned something today. And this time was very well spent. So having said that, I wish you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a lot of success, because if you were here is because you are a smart person and we would like to be in communication with you. So Merry Christmas and happy holidays.